guys, little update video I thought I'd give you, involving the Alfa, the red Alfa 159. After my last one, it was weird. Remember I had that little bit of the splash of the water, got a bit of water through. Well, I put the cold air intake on it, and the car was wicked after that. It was driving really, really well. What was weird is you've probably driven about 250, 300 miles after that. Absolutely fine, no problems. And then one day I pulled up outside the house, parked it up in my usual parking space, and then as I was switching the engine off, a light came up on the dash. I noticed it come on. As I switched the engine off inside the house, a light flicked up saying crank position sensor warning. So that's a weird one. So I put the ignition back on straight away, went to start it up, crank position sensor warning, cranking, wouldn't fire up. So I thought, great, sensors failed. So I bought a new sensor, Lucas part, put it on, didn't work. That's weird. Thought the part might have failed, put the old sensor back in, it fired up, but it was running rough, and then it cut out again. So I thought, this is really, really weird. You know, brand spanking new part wasn't being recognised, but the old part, which had apparently failed, was fine. So yeah, so ordered another crank sensor. In fairness, the company I ordered the first one from, it could have been a faulty part. So I ordered another crank sensor, and the company were good enough. They sent me another one, a different part. Instead of going for a Lucas, I went for a different brand. I can't remember what the brand was now. I got another crank sensor, put it in, car still wouldn't fire. Car still wouldn't start. Really, really weird. So I cleared all the codes just to double check it. Put the original crank sensor back in, thinking, well, if the original crank sensor was faulty, it would have given me the fault again, wouldn't it? Nope. No fault coming up. No management light coming up. No nothing. So I'm really scratching my head now, thinking, well, the car won't start, and now I'm not even getting my crank sensor fault again. So I did a lot of fiddling round. Ended up getting the car to start when I had the crank sensor in loose, because a lot of people were saying, well, you've got to get the gap right. You know, if the crank sensor gap is wrong, it won't read properly. And I thought, well, it's not supposed to be gapped, it's supposed to be a plug and play part. But anyway, I tinkered with it, and I got the car to run with the crank sensor not attached, just hanging loosely in the hole. And the car started and ran for 15 seconds, running rough. When I was trying to rev it, I could feel it wasn't getting the reading right. But again, it didn't put the light back on. Then the engine cut out because the sensor fell out, so I thought I need to gap the spot. So I was going under then, I'm trying to gap the sensor to get to the point where I can reenact it starting up. Because I've checked the timing, I mean, the timing's spot on. I mean, if anything, it wasn't perfect before, but now I know the time is absolutely spot on. The belt's fine, the fuel pump's fine, the fuel pressure's fine, the injector's fine. I've checked everything. Everything mechanically on the engine's working, but the bugger won't start because of some electrical gremlin. Well, anyway, I got to the point where when I was trying to gap it and I was having to try and restart and crank, now the starter motor has slowed right down. I thought, great, starter motor's knackered, so we couldn't really get a good reading off the crank anyway, so I thought, buy a new starter motor. It's a really nice car. So I've gone to Euro Car Parts, 3 different types of starter motors for that car. 3 different ones, all look totally different. You know, I'm going to take my old one off because it's a pain in the ass to get to. If I'm in there taking it off, I want to have the other one to put back on. So anyway, I ordered the starter motor, which was apparently the exact one for the car. You know, same cc, same horsepower, same year, ticked all the boxes. It said it was the one for my car. Ordered the part, waited until the weather improved after Christmas. Checked it, wouldn't fit, wrong size one. So got the ump, sent it back, thought can't be asked, advertised it up now, spares and repairs. I know someone will get it running. I mean, I got the feeling I could tow it down the road, bump it, and it would fire. So I've got the crank sensor in, I've got the crank sensor in properly. I've recharged the battery 2 or 3 times, I've put a different battery on it. And you know, when you get to the point when you're like, this car's fighting me, it's got to go. So the Alfa is currently up, spares and repairs, 750. To be honest, I'll take 500 quid and see that car disappear on a trailer, because now I kind of have to. Because obviously you're looking on Facebook Marketplace. I was looking at potential engine swaps and stuff, but it seems crazy because the engine's fine. Well, I say the engine's fine, it doesn't drive. But I mean, I drove to my parking space. I would have thought if something mechanical was going to fail, like a broken rocker arm or a crankshaft or a camshaft or any kind of mass internal damage, I would have thought it would happen when you're moving, not when you're parked. Do you know what I mean? So it's really weird. And the fact I can rotate the engine fully on the crankshaft and it's fine. There's no interference. There's no, there's compression, but there's no grind. Do you know what I mean? The engine turns. It's fine. There's nothing apparently wrong with the engine. It's something that's plugged into it. But then I start thinking, could it be ECU? You can't just plug and play a new ECU. You got to have it programmed and stuff. So I'm kind of passing it on to the next man now. So yeah, looking on Facebook Marketplace and stuff for potential engine swaps and stuff. And you're always looking at what cars are for sale. And well, long story short, or long, it's taking me long enough to tell you, I'm on my way back now from viewing a car which I've actually just bought. A car I've always really, really liked, but I need something sensible. When I get back into work soon, hopefully, I have a lot going on. But when I get back into school, when I get back into work soon, I want to have something I can jump in. It's not going to cost me a fortune to drive. It's not going to cost me a fortune on fuel. And something I can be proud of and rely on. So yes, so I've just done the deal on a 2008 Saab 93 TTID. It's a lovely, it's a fantastic car. It's got a full service history. It's got every single service stamp. It's brand new. It's got 16 service stamps in a book. I don't think I've ever seen that. So yeah, so I've just done the deal on that. So as you can see, I'm in the red Alfa at the moment. Pandas. I've just done all of that. I've got to take the Alfa back now. So you can see I'm in the 166. This car's been going absolutely great. I mean, it's quite a lot of moisture finding its way into the car, which is when I bought it, it was thought to be the heater matrix leaking. That's a common thing on these, and I found it's not the heater matrix leaking at all. It's it's not the heater matrix. It is a seal around somewhere by my wing, somewhere by my windscreen, top corner. There's actually water dripping down through there. So I've tried to go in and sort of reseal it as best I can. This car's had a new windscreen at some point, and whoever fitted it didn't do a very good job, to be honest. All the plastics and the rubbers around the window had been pinched in and twisted, and loads of them were dry and perished. So all the ones that are sort of on the outside, like underneath the chrome strips and stuff, I've actually taken those off completely and I've siliconed. And as much as that feels like a great big botch, I'm not paying 150 quid for a rubber strip. That's how I know for a fact that's the issue. So when we get to the drier weather, which is what this car was supposed to be waiting for anyway, I can get my teeth into it then. But this has been taking the weight, this car. It's been running us rounds over Christmas. I ended up taxing it. I think it was on the 24th of December I ended up taxing it, so I had to pay for the whole month, £32 or £34 a month this car is to tax. And I taxed it for 6 days at the end of December, just so we could go up and see our mums and go visit family and stuff, which it's the most important thing. So I did that, and obviously it's killing me on fuel. Although driving up to Cwmbran just then on the motorway, I got caught in a bit of traffic as well, but as I pulled off the motorway, including the 50-mile-an-hour rolling roadblock that Mark Drakeford's insisted on, it was on 34 miles a gallon. It's amazing. I mean, the heaters wouldn't work this morning. They decided heaters being intermittent. If you need them, they don't work. If it's a lovely, warm, sunny day, the heaters work lovely. When it's a freezing cold day like today, I mean, we're coming up to midday now and the temperature's just got to 1 degree. It's freezing. No bloody heaters in yet. But the car's running absolutely beautifully. It's sounding awesome. It's smooth. I adore this car, but this car was never meant to be doing the bulk of the family driving back and forth in the winter months. This car was supposed to be sat on the driveway under the sheet awaiting all these nice jobs. But it's been fantastic. So the fact we bought this Saab now, and I can sawn this next month, let this rest up for a month. The Saab's far cheaper on tax, and then while this is parked up, I know I can start a job and know that I can take a couple of days on a job, not needing the car the next day, because you can't get stuck into these big jobs when you know that car needs to be mobile. So yeah, so that's the plan now with this, because I love this. It really needs a clean. I'm looking at it, I feel so guilty. You know, all the grit and the salt's out on the road, and it's too cold for me to come and clean it. So the car looks, I mean, black cars look horrific, don't they, when they get dirty in the winter? So the car's looking bogging. So I'm feeling a bit guilty now that I've got such a lovely special car and it's looking the way it is. But it's driving beautifully, and I'm still madly in love with this car. So there'll be plenty to come on this car when the weather improves. I'll show you a visual on the Saab. I'll give you a walk around that, because that's a very, very nice car indeed. Very nice. So yeah, so there's the update. Unfortunately, the red Alfa is going to have to part my company. And I know whoever takes it will have that car running. It won't take long. Problem is, where I live, I haven't got a garage. Those couple of days where I was doing the crank sensor, I was lying under the car. It was on and off raining, and at one point the rain came down solid when I was underneath, and the rain was running down the curb where I was lying, and I was lying literally with a stream of rainwater going into my back and into my hood and my hair, and I just thought, I'm not doing this car. 60 mile an hour, hey, 60. I tell you, the motorways, you name me another country in Europe where a 70 mile an hour road can have a pothole in the middle of it. It'd be awful, isn't it? So yeah, so there's just a quick update. Alfa is going to have to go. Whoever gets it, I'm sure will have a brilliant car. I mean, you know, the thing with the Alfa is I can see loads of other cars going for sale with great engines that are completely rotten underneath. Whereas the black Alfa, the subframes, front and back pucker, it's had new calipers. The whole body's great. It's just, the thing that's worrying me with that ECU, potential ECU fault, is the fact that that crank sensor warning light came up, which says obviously the sensor's faulty, but then it didn't come back up when I refitted it after I'd reset everything, which says to me, is there a chance that the ECU is what's at fault and the crank sensor was never at fault in the first place? That's the other thing that's worrying me, and to find out, to pay the diagnostics and find out, is going to be expensive. I've used my multi-ECU scanner, gone through anything, checked all the actuators, and according to the multi-ECU scanner, as much as there's about 15 or 20 codes on there, all those codes came up at 0 mile an hour at 0 RPM, which is weird to have all those codes coming up, but there was literally 12 or 15 codes, and as I was checking all these codes, checking all the actuators, they were all resetting and disappearing, which says to me, is the ECU giving me false information? And if the ECU's screwed, I wouldn't even know where to start, because you can't just plug and play. You know, I can't just find one of these scrap Alfa 159s, pull the ECU out, plug it into mine and it's fixed. I'm pretty sure you've got a program. I mean, I could be completely wrong here. I might be selling a car for nothing, which only needs 35 quid second-hand ECU. But in my mind, it needs to be reprogrammed. You know, you need to dig in there, you need to program the key, the dashboard, everything needs to speak. So I don't know, like I said, I don't know. I'm not throwing money at the car. It was supposed to be a good car that I could just use and not have to worry about things. So the fact it spent the whole of the last month dormant, sat out the front of the house, unable to start, you know, I've got to get shot in a bit, unfortunately. Which is a shame, because still got another 8 months MOT on it. You know, it's a good solid car. But if there is someone who wants to buy it and they've got a hoist and they're prepared to do an engine drop, well, I'd be tempted to chuck in the 2 litre or chuck in to a petrol conversion or something. That car would be ideal for something like that. You know, it's just ready to go if you've got the mechanical knowledge. But unfortunately, I haven't got the space, I haven't got the time. Even if I did want to drop the engine, I haven't got a crane to take the engine out. If I did get an engine hoist, I'd have to drag the car to a garage somewhere, which means tough. You know, all the signs are pointing towards me getting rid of it. So yeah. So I'm a Saab owner now, never had one before. I was very impressed on the test drive. Beautiful little car to drive. Really good, straight looking car, amazing service history, lovely chap I bought it off. And I think was a really, really reasonable price. You know, because the thing is, when you're buying another car, you've got to think, you know, you want to get a good deal, but then you're thinking, well, if I buy the cheapest car out there, it could just have loads of problems. So you want to buy one with the longest MOT you can get, so you don't have to put your hand in your pocket for a while. So yeah, so that's what I've done. This car's done amazing service history, and MOT till late November. It had its last service in late November. I mean, the car's pretty much faultless. So yeah, so like I said, I'll introduce you to that car. I'm going to get some more videos. I mean, the weather at the moment's not right for going out finding nice roads, going for drives, going exploring. Like I say, I'm enjoying this little blast on the motorway now, because I don't very often get to stretch the legs on the Alfa. When I say stretch the legs, I'm stuck at 70 mile an hour in traffic in a car that I can hardly see out the windscreen since it's so covered in grit. But you know, I'm not going to knock this car. I love it to pieces. It's awesome. So plenty more on the Alfa. I think I'm going to be changing the springs, potentially the shocks as well. I'm going to rise the ride height up a little bit. That noise I had at the front, just the Alfa update, remember I had that knock on the front I said about? I got a feeling, I tightened down all of my, there was loads of screw stuff missing in the engine, so there's loads of plastic in the engine bay, around the wings and stuff. Well, I tightened them back down and filled all the gaps with screws. And since then, going over speed bumps, I can hear loads of like creaking from the front. So I'm wondering if the clunk I was hearing might be the top shock mount. Maybe the rubbers are tired, and that's what the creaking I'm hearing now is, because everything tightened down onto it. So, I mean, I've got the Bilsteins all round on here, but I'm thinking, well, do I take it back closer to standard? So I don't do much ripping down the lanes and going mad. And this car handles really well anyway. I don't know whether to just change the springs and just raise the ride height a little bit. So I'm pretty sure this car must have been dropped about 40 mil. I spoke to the previous owner who put the Bilsteins on, and he said he put a 20 mil lowering spring on. But to me it seems a bit lower than that. So a bit lower than that. So I might put the standard height springs on, but I don't know whether to go back to the standard shocks as well. I'm also going to do something about this back box. I mean, I'm going to put the sports cats on, but this exhaust is really loud as it is. But it's like droney loud, so I might put, I was thinking I could put a standard muffler on it, a standard back box, and put the sports cats, and that should still give me a really nice sound. Because as much as this exhaust might sound great on a flyby and great when you're getting stuck into it, when you're set to 60 mile an hour on a motorway like this, the drone is constant. It's just bob, you know. So there's a few things I want to do on this car. Also the MG, that just failed its MOT on a bit of welding on the sill. So that's on the drive at the moment. But I'm going to take that up to a friend of the family he's an amazing metal worker. There's amazing welding and stuff, but his main trade is building like those beautiful gates, the wrought iron gates. You know, he's an amazing welder, but he said he's happy to do work on the car. So I'm thinking of literally getting all the welding done on the bottom of the MG and then fully stripping out the interior, giving it a good clean, soundproof and everything, putting it back together better than MG ever did, and then have one of the best MG ZRs unmolested on the road. So that's my plan for the MG. So the MG and the Alfa can both have a lot of surgery and work this year to make them as good as they can be, and then that Saab can take the weight of the daily driving. And I think it's something I can look out the window and be very, very proud of as well. It's a great looking car, the Saabs. I think the 9.3. It's not a convertible, it's just a really nice, honest, I think it's quite a handsome car. I mean, I don't think there's much on the road that's prettier than a 159, to be honest, my personal opinion. But I mean, if the car's really pretty but it's just sat out your house like an ornament, it's useless. But I think the Saab's quite a handsome looking car, very comfortable seat. It's got full heated leather interior, cruise control, traction, everything you could ever want from the car. He's also upgraded the radio to a DAB touchscreen, so he's got lots of nice little mod cons added to the car, and it's only on 138,000 miles with a full service history. So I think it's I think this is one of the more sensible decisions. Like, you know, you always want to look at a car and then walk away and then come back to look at it after you've slept on it. But I did the deal there and then, because honestly, I think if I didn't buy that car then, the first person who looked at it would have bought it. I think it was underpriced. I'm not going to say exactly what I paid for it, but I paid less than £2,000 for that car. It's 16 service stamps, a wad of service history like that, its whole original Saab service book full of stamps, and he's onto the new book. It's proper. It really has been well looked after. I mean, I didn't even bid the guy. He's got half a tank of bloody BP Ultimate fuel in it as well. Didn't even bid the guy. I just paid the guy when he was asking. You know, everyone likes to get a deal, but you know, sometimes a car is worth exactly what it's worth. That car was worth more. I've looked at a few cars, but that one I got quite excited about, and it's the only Saab I've looked at, which could be a huge mistake, but you know, looking at all the other ones online, it's better than cars that are priced far, far higher, other Saabs. So no, I'm happy with that, and I'll introduce you all to the car. And like I say, it's a wonderful thing. So thanks for listening to me rambling on. That's the update. Unfortunately, you probably won't even see the red Alfa again. I mean, if the red Alfa goes away on a tow truck in the next day or two and someone buys it, really good luck to them. I really hope they get a great car for the money. If they can get that car started, they'll have a great deal. But yeah, and if that does happen, I'll click it on the end of the video. But yeah, just a little rambling update. You'll see a bit more of the cars rather than just my ugly mug on one of the videos coming up soon. I mean, we're supposed to be having a load of snow and stuff coming in soon, so there's not really much you can do on a car when it's like this. I mean, how many of you guys want to lie on an ice cold floor underneath the car? I really don't. So yeah, thanks for watching the update. There'll be another video coming shortly introducing you to the Saab and then talking through some of the issues. And like I say, lots of work to come this year. They'll recommission the MG, which is awesome car, I love it to bits. Treat it to a new battery, get the inside better than Rover and MG ever did it. And then the Alfa, we'll try and make her the best one on the road. You know, because she drives beautifully, she runs lovely. I managed to get in and have a look at my cam belt, and as much as it was done, it was done 2021, it was done 3 years ago. And you know, lots of people say, oh, you got to change it every 3 years. It was only about 12,000 miles ago it was done. For 3 years, but I've looked at it and the belt actually looks really, really healthy. So touch woods, that's great for this year. And then I'll just keep an eye on it, and then we'll book this in to have his cam belt done. I won't do that myself. As much as I could tackle it and probably do it myself, with a car like this, I think I'm better off getting a stamp to say it's been done, pucker. And then if I ever sell it, which I don't think I ever would, but I have got a number in my head that would be can't say no money. As I say, there's only 2 3-litre Sportronics on the road, well, 2 black ones left on the road. I've seen a couple of the 3-litre boosters coming up for sales, the manual supers, which are cool cars. But I wouldn't want to, I don't think I could get rid of it. I love it. Plus, I've got the best sounding engine. See if I get a little chance to put my foot down now so you can have a little hear of the bobs before I leave it there. Brake. So yes, this car's going nowhere. That noise is addictive. Like I say, when you're on the throttle, the exhaust sounds awesome. It's when you're just sat in traffic, it's warm. So that's what we gotta rectify these things. Anyway, I'm done, boys. I'm going home. I want a cup of tea. I've got to organise a lift so I can go pick up the other car, because I've got to go all the way back over there now to pick it up. So fingers crossed the old man's car passed the MOT, because that's in this morning. Otherwise, he would have taken me up then. So see how it goes. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you want to see some more videos coming up. They'll get more exciting than just me talking. So stay safe. I hope you all had a great Christmas and a good New Year. And I'll see you soon with more updates and more cars. Cheers, guys.